What is up, you guys? Dewey here, Poke Center TCG. This is day 8, video number 8. Heading home right now from a 9 to 5. Let's chat. What is going on today? Today, I just got news today that one of the cards submitted, I've been trying to submit for the past few months, and it finally got graded, was the Rayquaza EX Black Promo. It came back a 9. Came back a 9, guys. I sent it in hoping for an 8, you know, best case 9, but I wasn't too confident about that. But my friend and I submitted, we waited, we just wanted a grade because it's been so long. We actually had to resubmit it because the last grade they gave us told us it was altered, which didn't make any sense. We looked at it back and forth, so we just cracked it. No, we didn't even crack it. We just, once we got it back, we resubmitted it, and it ended up getting a 9. So this Rayquaza EX Black Promo in a 9 recently sold for 8.6 thousand. 8.6 thousand. And an 8 is like 1900. So it's a big jump. Big jump. Huge win for grading vintage. And you know, I just want to reiterate that if you're planning to vend and planning to buy, sell, trade business for these card shows, half the battle is grading cards. You have to grade if you want to scale. And you can scale exponentially if you grade the right thing. Now, I'm not saying don't grade like all the small cards that are like 200 to 1,000 after, you know, getting a 10. I'm not discouraging you from doing that, because you should absolutely do that. If it makes sense, if the $80 cost makes sense, which I feel like you should only grade if the full value when it returns is over $400, I feel like that is the only time it is worth it to take a shot at grading. Worst case, it gets a 9, you get it back, you sell it wrong. You know, no harm done. But yeah, reiterate to please grade or get better at looking at cards. And you know, I've noticed that I am more strict on the cards that I grade as to if someone else were to grade. And sometimes that's good and bad. Like whenever I take in new singles as inventory, I look at them first to make sure, are these gradable? When I have time after a show, of course. But are these gradable? And if it is gradable, you know, is it worth sending it? Is it worth spending the 80 bucks or 120, whatever, express, and waiting like a few months to get it back? Is it worth it? Now, most of the time, I rather not take the chance than take the chance. But I'm just putting it out there for you guys. Public service announcement, or PSA, no pun intended. Grade your cards. The more you grade, the more experience you have in grading, and the more confidence you get once you get more and more intense. I had a bunch of cards that I sold to people, and they were looking for gradable cards. And in my mind, I thought, you know, these, to me, these aren't gradable. Like, at best, they'll probably get a 9, which has to do with either like the centering. If the centering is a little off, like I only send things if I feel like it's perfect. But there is a margin of error that you can submit a card and it will get a 10. It's a small chance. But the more cards you grade, the more you'll understand like what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Because I know you guys have seen slabs that are 10s that shouldn't be 10s. Like shouldn't be 10s. Sometimes you just gotta get lucky. But I've sold a lot of cards to people, maybe like 5 to 10 cards in the past year that I didn't think would 10, but other people thought it would 10. And a few have come back and told me that they graded it and it came back a 10. So that is crazy. One example is a Lucario Melmetal Tag Team. I thought it was a nice card, but I didn't think it would actually 10. But then this guy bought it, $70. He graded it. It got a 10. Now it's worth like $400 to $500 in a 10, which is, man, I missed out on that opportunity because that was during the time when grading was still $20. I was like, oh man. So that made me kind of look at cards a little more closely. The last submission, bulk submission that I got back, I think I had a pretty good gem rate. 8 out of the 12 I submitted got 10s, which is crazy. And the total value of the raw cards I sent in was about like $300. And then the grading fees, $20 per card. That's another like $240. So I'm in it for like $540. And then the total value that came back was, I think it was $2,200 or $2,300, which is crazy. Crazy. So that is another way for you to scale your vending business and create more value for yourself, is to learn how to grade. Learn how to grade cards. Know what cards are worth grading. There are some cards that even if you get a 7 or 8, it's still way more valuable than selling the card raw. And this is usually true with more vintage cards like mid-era, or more vintage sets from early 2000s. Those are more worth it. But yeah, just always be on the lookout for these plays. Vendors are always making these plays, so they're just not depending on people bringing them slabs, but they're also have slabs in the back end that are waiting to come back, so they can have more inventory to sell. And also another thing is you can also sell to PSA, but they offer like 70% of the value, which if you really need money, you can do it that route. It doesn't need to send back to you. They would just purchase it and leave it in their vault, basically. But I haven't sold to PSA yet because I feel like, PSA is kind of a monopoly right now with the ownership of Card Ladder. I mean, the different grading tiers that they have, and they can just hold on to your stuff and make you wait. Like, even if they have an estimated time to complete the grading, they'll still hold on to it. I don't know. Like, recently I was promised August 19th that all my grades would be finished, and I paid express for it, mind you. It is currently August 25th, and it's still in QA. No, it's still in assembly. It still needs to go through QA. So I don't know. I feel like if they provide me an estimate, they should honor it, because I have shows coming up. I really want to put them out for the shows, especially the big show coming up, Collecticon. I have a few big cards in PSA right now, such as the Legendary Collection Blastoise. I'm waiting for the Blaine's Charizard to come back. I got lucky and got that in a 10. But yeah, I hope PSA does a better job and brings back bulk grading so that more people can grade. But I understand they're making a lot of money from the business and they're creating more demand by creating this scarcity that they're not caught up with all the PSA grading that's already there, which is, I think they're behind like 12 million grades, 12 million cards they still have to grade. Majority of them are TCG. I also heard that if you submit other cards such as like One Piece or maybe sports cards, these sports card graders, they have less cards that they need to grade, so that actually goes very quickly. And I might actually test that out by sending a few of the sports cards that I picked up recently at the last show, the Shohei Ohtani's, the rookie, and a Michael Jordan card that I have that maybe might be worth something, maybe not. I don't know. Oh man, this card like stopped out of nowhere. Okay, dang, come on, bro. Anyways, so buying and selling cards, one way to get inventory. Grading, another way to scale up your vending business, scale up the value of your business. It's just noticing what cards are good, what plays to make. You can even go out and pick up cards that, you know, are like $100, but in a 10 they're $3,000. One example is the Ends Zekrom Pokemon Center promo from Ascended Heroes. That card raw is around $90 to $100. Grading it in a 10, since not a lot of people are grading it nowadays because no one's really opening Pokemon Center promos, especially Ascended Heroes, because it's so expensive. That in a 10 is going for maybe $2,700 to $3K right now, so that is also a good play. I also submitted one, hoping it comes back at 10. It's actually been in grading for the past 3 months and it's taking forever. But that's okay, because while I'm waiting for all those cards to be graded, grinding and doing my thing here, buying, selling, and trading my way up to my goal of 100K. And are there any cards that you guys feel like are undervalued and would be great grading plays? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about today. I'm actually gonna go pick up my wife and we're gonna head to San Francisco to pick up our badges right now for Worlds this weekend. Worlds. Hopefully I can record some of the content for you guys to post later as a short or something of the whole process. But it's gonna be an exciting week and weekend. Everyone's coming in. I think a lot of content creators are coming in to, you know, to experience the event but also make content of the event. It's pretty big. There's also the SF card show going on that same weekend, and it'll be like, I think, a 5-minute walk from the actual World Championship location. So that's gonna be crazy. Over 500 vendors. Clover Cards, Faizel's gonna be there. Faizel's gonna be there. One of the goated Pokemon creators out there, vending POV creators. And yeah, if you're in town, if you're going to Worlds, let me know below. Yeah, let's have a good week, guys. Happy Tuesday. And I'm out. Peace.